Hey guys, welcome to the Entrepreneur Spotlight. Today I have the awesome Juan Valadez. Thank you so much for being here, Juan.
Thank you for having me, Lauren. It's a
Yeah,
pleasure.
yeah. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. Go ahead and share with us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey so far and what you've experienced.
Well, I tell you, it it's interesting the way this has worked, right? Because I began a little later in life. I'm 55 years old, and I became an entrepreneur at the age of 53. And I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur since I was a kid. At 13, I knew that I wanted to be one. And unfortunately, people stop you from dreaming too big. And so just a couple of years ago, I was able to, through real estate investing, through coaching, I was able to quit my job of teaching. I'd been a teacher, a math teacher, for 17 years, and then I was able to leave that job and become a full-time / part-time real estate investor and mindset coach, which is what most of my focus is on. Is I coach entrepreneurs in creating the life of their dreams. So
Beautiful. Awesome. One question I love to ask.
mhm.
Who is your why? What helps you on the days where you're struggling and you feel like, oh, this is just, I want to give up, or, whatever the hard days are telling you?
So I this might sound a little selfish, but the two main whys, the two main people are me and my 13-year-old self. And the reason I say that is because I owe it to him to make the
I love
dream
that.
he had a reality.
I
And
love
and I and
that.
like I said, and I know it, and it sounds a little selfish, but when we think about it, is our dream is our dream. It's not my wife's dream. It's not my kid's dream. It's not my mom or my. It's none of. It's my dream. I want it to be something, and therefore, I'm doing it. And whenever I start to wanna quit, or when I did start to want to quit, I remember that 13-year-old who just had these big, had stars in his eyes and just like wanted to reach everyone. Not one star. He wanted to reach as many as he could
Beautiful.
get.
I
And he
love
had this drive to do that. And yeah, so that's my main why. Now, obviously, I also do it because I want my wife and my kids to have a great life. You know, the fact that you can own your time, spend time with
Yeah.
my kids, spend time doing things that a lot of fathers, a lot of parents don't get a chance to do. Be able to work from anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Um, and also, I want to leave a legacy for my kids. I want my 4-year-old, because I have a 22-year-old who's in college studying physical therapy, and then I have a 4-year-old. I have my 21
Wow.
year old stepson, but I have a 4-year-old, and I look at him and I say, I want him to have every opportunity. Like,
I
if he
love
wants to get a job, great. But if he wants to be his own boss, I want to show him that he can do it.
Beautiful.
So yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That actually is very much aligned with me and my story. And it's funny that you said that. I was looking at old photos the other day at my mom's house. I was looking at my graduation photo from high school,
Uh-huh.
and it kind of made me time travel in my mind. I'm like, I remember sitting in that room at graduation, and in my mind, I was thinking, I'm going to do something big. Don't know
Mm-hmm.
what it is yet, but I'm going to do something big. I want to do something big with my life. And
Yeah.
so you saying that just brought me back to that moment.
Well,
And
I appreciate you sharing that.
yeah, yeah. And then I totally get the wanting to program your child's mind to be limitless. My daughter's same story. So very beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And that's the first time someone's picked themselves. The only other time I heard that was Matthew McConaughey. And I love that though, because you know what I'm talking about? Have you
Yes,
heard
the hero.
that?
I'm my hero in 10
Be
years. Yes.
yourself. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think that's great.
Yeah.
Um,
Like you, I love Matthew McConaughey, and I actually got his book Green Lights, and I read it, and I'm thinking, wow, it really, this guy really does live the way he talks about it. It was really impressive. I'm really impressed by him. I'm really impressed by him. And like you said, is we see our children and we want them. I love the word you said is limitless, right?
Yes. Yeah.
The limit that we hold in our mind is the only thing that, well, that is the limit.
Absolutely.
And I want my son, my 4-year-old doesn't know he has a limit. He thinks he can get on the roof and jump off and fly, you know? And while I don't want him to do that, I want him to have that mentality.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's jump to the next question, shall we?
Sure.
What are some profound wisdom nuggets that you've learned along the way? So in regards to the best advice you can share with everybody, and then also maybe something from your worst time or your hardest lesson.
Okay, so I might do it backwards. I'm gonna see if this makes sense. Okay, so before giving any advice, I want to share, and I shared this, that I dreamed of being my own boss and I'm going to use the word rich since I was 13 years old. I received this magazine. I have no idea why I got this magazine, but it came addressed to me. Never ordered anything. Now, mind you, I'm 55 years old, so when we didn't have Amazon back then, you know, we had United States Postal Service, so you got mail, you know, once a week, right, kind of thing.
Yes.
But I had this magazine, and I can still picture it in my mind. It's got this glossy black front, and it has this big block M on it. And in yellow letters, it says, "How rich is rich?" And then underneath, it said, $5 million isn't nearly enough. And I was so mesmerized by it. I had that magazine, and I had it hidden between our mattresses, because for my mom, being rich was not in our radar. Having money was not in our radar. It was not meant for us. And I love my mom to death. We're celebrating her 86th birthday tomorrow. She's turning 86. Thank you. And we're looking forward to it. And like I said, I love my mom because she is also the pillar of faith. Every hardship that she's ever had to face, she has faced it with just this immense faith of, we're going to get through it.
Beautiful.
The one thing that I didn't appreciate about that mentality was that it's almost like whatever we received was what we were supposed to receive, and we couldn't think any bigger. And so that 13-year-old had that magazine, and I looked through it, and it's all these rich people buying baseball gloves for $300. This was in 1982.
Oh wow!
Yeah, this is well before a lot of people probably will see this. Will say, "Wow, he's old as my grandmother." but this is what I grew up with, and I saw this magazine. It was just amazing. I just loved it. And I was like, I pulled it out every day, and I would look at it. And my mom saw me see it, was looking at it. She's like, "What is that?" And I started telling her. I was just telling her that one day I was going to be rich, and she would never have to live like this again. And of course, my mom put a really quick stop to that. And so when you ask the question, is like, I allowed very well-intentioned people, because my mom was really just trying to protect me. Don't dream too big, because you might fail and you're going to feel bad.
The comfort zone.
Yeah, that comfort zone. And then some not well-intentioned people, I let those people also talk me out of my own dreams. You know, they told me, and I believed that my dreams were either too big. I learned that I wasn't worthy of having big dreams, or any dreams for that matter. And also, my mother kind of reminded me, who do you think you are to have such big dreams? You know, we're not those people. You know, we're supposed to be, this is what God has given us. Therefore, this is what he has deemed. This is all we need. You should be grateful. And sure, I should be grateful for what I have. Absolutely. And I should also strive to make a bigger impact and teach my kids that they can dream big. And so I learned early on that I wasn't either good enough or smart enough, and didn't have what it took. I didn't have what it took to, and worse, I didn't deserve to have dreams and to be my own boss. And so, like you said, I went and got a degree and went to get a job, got a W-2, and for too long. And I know the pains of becoming, and you said the word, comfortable. And I use the word pains and comfortable because that's kind of what it was. We become stuck. It becomes the norm. Like
And
I get up and what's
it's,
that?
It's painful to be stuck in comfort. So
It really is, because I think about it. I think about it now. And as a teacher, people would always say, "Oh my God, you get summers off." And I was like, come to my middle school class for a week and see if you don't think we deserve summers off. Mind you, as a teacher, we really, summers weren't an option. I taught summer school because we weren't being a teacher, you just barely make it.
right.
And so people, I realized, you work at this job, you become really painfully comfortable, and you go away for 2 weeks a year. And in those 2 weeks, you become so exhausted because you want to cram all the fun and all the good and just, oh my God, I want to get all this stuff done, that you kind of come back and you're just exhausted from having all the fun.
Right.
Then you go back to your work and the work is piled up, and the stress is that you left with has now doubled, and you're back to that, oh my God, the pain. Like you said, it's like, why do I keep doing this over and over?
It's
And
a
at some
security blanket, that prison in our minds,
exactly, the prison in our minds that we think we can't do any more than this.
Right.
So I love the words that you're using, the being painfully stuck, and then also the prisons of our own mind. Until I became sick and tired of barely making it. And I know that's a cliche now, being sick and tired of being sick and tired, but I really did. It wasn't just being sick and tired. It was looking at it and realizing, if I don't do something, I'm going to lose what I have.
Yeah.
Because I had to make all my plans around my job.
Gotcha.
It's like, it's like my child got sick. As a teacher, especially, I couldn't just call in and say, hey, I'm not coming to work today, because I have to have sub plans. I have to get a sub. I have to make sure all this is taken care of. And it became that point of like, okay, this is stressful to be away from work. It's stressful to be at work. And it becomes, like you said, comfortably painful. And so going to the advice part, I one of the things that I, because with my clients, and I appreciate my clients, I love you guys to death. Thank you for hiring me as your coach. But it's just saying that you being a coach is hire a coach who can guide you and keep you accountable to your dreams. Because a lot of times when we start doing things on our own and becomes hard, it's real easy to fall back into this probably just isn't meant for me. Is that prison, that mind prison that says you're not good enough. I don't think this belongs to you.
Yeah, the old patterns are comfortable still, so you regress. Yep.
And it's crazy to think that when we say comfortable is being painful, because and I've used this before, but there's a movie called The Shawshank Redemption. They pass on TNT or TBS almost every week. But one of the things that the character Morgan Freeman plays, he tells the other guy, he says, I've been here so long that these walls have become my safety.
Oh, wow. I love that.
And it's like, we need them now. And so a lot of times that comfort that keeps us prisoner, we need it now because we don't know anything outside of that. And outside of that, it gets scary. And this is why I think coaches like yourself and myself are really important.
Yes.
I think about professional athletes. They have coaches, and they have coaches for a reason. They're the best at their game, whether it's basketball or running or swimming or whatever it is. They have coaches, and they have them for a reason, because these folks, they guide them, they push them, they remind them when they're not, I don't feel like getting up today, coach. Nope, we got to get up. You remember the Olympics? You remember the game? Remember the championship?
Muscles. You got to build the muscles.
You got to build those muscles. And a lot of times we see that it's easy to see the athletes. It's easy to see why they need a coach, because they're trying to, jump over a beam, or they're trying to dunk higher, they're trying to run faster, they're trying to swim faster, or they're trying to last longer, whatever it is. And we don't see that we need coaches. We need a coach to kind of keep us accountable to our dream. Are you making the phone calls that you need to make? Are you posting the content? Are you creating more? Is the document that you just wrote, is that really what you want to say? How do you talk to people? When do you talk to them? When you talk to them, are you listening? And I think that's what coaches, my coaches have been instrumental in helping me. They were instrumental. They played a huge role in me leaving my job. And it was scary. It was like, again, we become comfortable, and being a teacher, I wasn't getting paid a lot. I wasn't leaving a lot, but I was still leaving a secure paycheck that came in every month. So every month I looked at my bank account, was like, okay, there's another $3,000. Oh, there's another 3,000, but every month. And it was like clockwork. And I didn't realize how much they were paying me to not live my dream.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what it was. And so my coaches became instrumental in helping me leave my job. They were the ones who pushed me to say, okay, here's where you are now. Here's where you want to be. What are the steps that you need to do to get there? How fast can we get you to get there? And we made a plan. And the plan was that. And it was my coach's job. It's my job as my client's coach to remind them, okay, you said you were going to make 50 phone calls. You only made 25. What happened? What happened to the other 25? And sometimes, obviously, there's emergencies, things happen, all that. As a coach, it is our job to remind them, okay, so then tomorrow we need to make an additional time to make sure that we get those calls done, or that we get that content put together, or that we create better content, or that we do something different for the people you're serving. Being a coach also is, I'm doing this right now with you, actually. The sounding board, the guiding, the constant pushing of, again, holding me accountable to live my best life. And so that's, for me, those are those nuggets that I would tell folks,
Beautiful.
And something that I would definitely tell is start exactly where you are. I was 53. So when people say, oh, I'm too old, man, I was 53. I think the only time we're too old is when we're on our deathbed or when we're being carried to the cemetery. That's a little too late.
Absolutely. Yes. I love that.
And I tell people, it's never too late to start dreaming big. I dreamt big when I was a kid, and I quit dreaming big as I became an adult. And then I realized how important having dreams are. And I don't want to romanticize it and say, oh, it's this, pie in the sky kind of thing.
Right.
If you ever sit with yourself and just start thinking, close your eyes and just imagine living an amazing life. Just saying that gave me some goosebumps, and I get my clients to sit and think. Even before they become my clients, I do a little work with them. It's like, hey, let's imagine something. And we start doing it, and all of a sudden they're like, some people even get emotional. I was like, yeah, that's what dreaming big looks like. That's what dreaming big looks like. It's like, now let's do this. Like, let's make this a regular practice so that you can start remembering what it was like to be a kid with no limits. And all of a sudden they start to like, wait, I deserve that? I can do that? I'm 40 years old, so you can absolutely do that. And I want to remind people, dream big. Start, even if you have to start small. Be consistent.
Yes.
You shared earlier, and I really like the way you shared. So I'm gonna ask you to share it again. How did you say, is like building that muscle of resiliency? I don't remember exactly how you said it, but
it's a muscle. So actually, it's funny you just said that. I was about to say something about that too. Talking about this regression back to your old comfort zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking about, having a coach and how important it is. also another really huge factor is being around somebody who's emulating what you want to be and already has taken that journey, and they're going to throw you in communities and environments where you don't have to work so hard against that comfort zone because you're
Yeah.
going to grow into it, right?
Yes. Yes.
So that muscle is excuse me, that muscle is just going to naturally and efficiently grow in that way. So
And again, we talk about it as a muscle, and I don't think education, I don't think teachers, and by no means, I was a teacher, so I'm not knocking anybody. I I don't think we see the mindset as a muscle, of resiliency. It is the number one thing that really gets me to believe whether I can run a 100-meter dash in 10 seconds,
exactly.
whether I can make $10,000 a month or not,
Exactly.
whether I can dream the life of my dreams or not.
Exactly.
It's creating, it's like you said, it's being consistent and doing that. And earlier when you were sharing, is one of the things that I wanted to add to is, and I know you see these people, right? You see, and you see them online all the time, and they're in front of a big mansion, or they're on a pool, or they're at a exotic location, or they're right next to a Lamborghini or Ferrari or whatever it is,
Living an extravagant lifestyle.
living the extravagant lifestyle. And a lot of people really do believe, wow, this guy or this lady are self-made. No, they're not. Nobody is self-made. They had help. Now,
Amen.
though the journey, the decisions, and the outcomes are yours, it is, and you said this right now, it's like with whom you surround yourself, that's going to make the difference of how much success you have, how
Absolutely.
fast you get there, and how long you stay there.
Yeah.
Because it is what you said earlier, is when you surround yourself with people, or you hang out with people that you want to be like, and you want to emulate them, it really does make a huge difference. We rise to that occasion. So when I was a teacher, I started an algebra class in a school that didn't have algebra before, and it was it was in a rough school. And when I talked to people, they were like, well, we can't teach our kids algebra. I'm thinking, why not? They have to learn it at some point. I said,
Right.
let's just try, see what happens.
I love that you did that. That's great.
And now my kids were kicking balls outside. They were filling up different shaped vases with water and trying to figure out what the graph would look like, well before I even started thinking about, y equals mx plus b or any of those formulas, because I wanted them to grow an imagination of what this was for. And then when we started to do the formulas, and they're like, I said, you remember that day that we were like, oh, that's why we did it. And all of a sudden it started to make sense for them. But like I said, when you set the bar high, yeah, people may not reach it, but they're going to do the best they can to get there.
Yeah.
And where they land is still a whole lot better than they were beforehand.
I love that.
And I think that too many times we believe, like I did. I was perfect example. So I want people to know when they see this, that you're not alone when you lost the dream, when you lost your self-worth, when you decided you weren't worthy of having these dreams. I was that person. I was that person because I lived it for so long that I actually grew to believe and emulate that. And then I realized, if I can emulate that, I can do the opposite. And so started hanging around, talking to people that lived the life that I kind of wanted to see and that I wanted to live. And the more I talked with them, the more I was able to share with them, the more I listened to them, I started to realize my thinking started to change. And I wasn't afraid as much anymore. And so the walls that were keeping me inside, I started to kind of little by little make them smaller. And I was able to see past it.
Capacity in your mind, so you were able to grow into it. Yep.
What's that?
It built that capacity. You were filling up vases with water, and you were,
Wow, that's amazing. I like that. Yes, absolutely. I was filling that up, and all of a sudden, I started to kind of feel this, almost like this island lifting me above the water, and I was no longer treading water. I was able to see above it, and started to really feel that I not only could live the life that I wanted, I was worthy of living that.
Yes.
And so one of the things that so that's one of the reasons I got into coaching, is because I wanted other people, I wanted to help people remove I love your statement, the mind jail that we imprison ourselves in.
Yep.
And so I started to study and be trained in NLP, neuro linguistic programming, how to reprogram our minds, how to get rid of all the negative baggage that we carry, and how do we, and so I became a master practitioner of NLP, of hypnosis, and mental emotional release, and be able to work with people to get rid of all those bars that keep them housed in that small cell of their mind, and really open up their mind to see, like you said, like I was shared, is not only are they capable of doing it, but they're worthy of it. Because even if you consciously know you're capable, like you said earlier, our patterns keep us stuck, keep us there.
Yep. I always say our weakest muscle is always where we're going to regress back to. And that's our weakest pattern.
Wow. I never looked at it that way, but you're absolutely right. It is that. It is exactly that. It's like the cliche, the chain is only as strong as its weakest link, right?
Exactly.
Once that breaks, it's gone, and then it's tough to recover. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great way to put it. And so again, this is one of the reasons that I decided, you know what, I not only want to, because I'm an investor. My wife and I are real estate investors, and we invest in real estate. We have partners, and I learned a lot from a lot of my partners. And I also wanted to help people break away from them, from their self-limiting, from the limitations that they either imposed on them, or have been self-imposed, or we've come to believe that that's all we can manage. And I really do want people to know that there is a way out.
Beautiful.
And it's not only a safe way out, but it is exciting, it is beautiful, it is life-changing. And I just, I love being able to see their faces when we go through that process.
It's pretty awesome. I will have to agree with you on that one. And everything you're saying, absolutely agree. Thank you so much for sharing that. And last but not least, Juan, how can we support you in this group? Is there anything that you are currently needing support or help with? Are you currently looking for more clients? How can we help you?
Well, thank you. I appreciate it for the ability to do this. So yes, I'm working to market my name and my brand, to people, who I am, what I do, and how I work with people to reach their dreams. And more than anything else is get rid of all the patterns that they have, that a lot of people don't even know that they have them. And so, yeah, so for me, I'm definitely always looking for more clients. As a matter of fact, right now, I just finished a cohort, and I'm actually looking for three new cohort members to start up in March. And so I'd love to be able to talk with whoever would love to be able to get on with me on a call and see if we are a good fit. And if we're not a good fit, I definitely would still love to be able to guide them in a direction that might be able to help them.
Yeah, cool. Okay, great. And then how can we reach you? What's the best way to contact you?
Well, I have a website. I have my calendar. I have my by phone.
We'll add it to the post on Facebook, so that way people will be able to reach you there. But if you want to give that information out, like your email address.
My email address, do I type it or do you want me to say it?
You can just say it.
Okay, my email address is Juan, it's Juan, at 3 words, all one word together, yourliferevolutionized.com.
Beautiful.
So it's Juan, Juan, at yourliferevolutionized.com. That's my email address. You can get a hold of me at that. If you prefer Voxer or text, you can contact me at 512-845-6946. And my website is yourliferevolutionized.com, just
Great.
like my email address. And I'd love to be able to, I was going to say, if you type in, what is it? Here's the subconscious music. If you type in Lauren, this way I'll know it came through here, because I always like to give back to folks when I get either a referral or depending on where I get my clients, I always like to make sure that folks get I give back to them.
Awesome, Juan. Well, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for your story and wisdom and your time today. And I truly hope that you get a ton out of this, both ways, the people watching and for you, and the support that you need. And hopefully you find the best cohort clients soon. So
thank you very much, Lauren. I really appreciate it. One final thought. For any of you who are out there who see this, if you are worth everything you ever thought or dreamed of. Don't ever let anybody tell you otherwise. And if either Lauren or I can help you or remind you or show you a way back, love to be able to have that conversation. So you guys have a blessed day. Lauren, thank you so much for this opportunity. It's amazing. Thank you for all the work that you do. And I hope you are blessed well beyond this.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Have a good rest of your day.